Hey guys, what's up? It's Eric with Advanced Level Automotive. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. Today, we're here taking a look at this 2013. This is a Kia Forte. I got called out because this is a crank no start. The story behind this is that the car did start and run and drive. However, after they did some detail work in the engine bay, well, the car became a no start. So it does crank, but it doesn't start. So today I've got a guest with me. Some of you guys might know this guy. Say what's up.
What's going on, man?
This is Mr. Oz from Oz Mechanics. He's gonna help us diagnose this car today. Like I said, we just got here, so we're doing some preliminary checks. So the battery is low, so go ahead and try to crank it, see what it sounds like. Yeah, as you guys can hear, the battery is completely dead. So let me go ahead and put a battery charger on this thing and we'll start with our diagnostic. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and grab our battery charger. Today we're gonna be using the TOPDON Tornado T90000. This is where I keep it stored in my truck. And we're gonna go ahead and grab the extension cord. Can you go ahead and hook this up for us?
Oh, for sure.
We're gonna run the extension cord. Let me disconnect this. We'll connect directly to it. There you go.
Hey Eric, I have a quick question.
What's that?
I got some brand new gear right here. So you see right there, you have Texas. What's that little red line that you see right there?
Yeah, that's my old logo that you stole.
but what's the red line? What is it? What does it represent?
It could also mean where you crossed the border from Mexico and then how you made it to Houston, Texas. All right, so we're gonna power on the TOPDON. You can see our battery voltage is at 11.7. We're gonna start this on and we're at 13.4 volts. Now we're gonna attempt to crank this thing. I've got the key right here. You guys can see that this is just a regular key that was cut at the auction where they bought this car, and so it doesn't really work that well, but it does turn the ignition. And so if you guys take a look here, the first thing we're looking for is going to be a check engine light. So that's the first thing I like to make sure is that the check engine light does come on. I didn't see it. Let me turn the key back off. Let me turn the key on. I don't see a check engine light. Let me show you guys a close-up. So I'm going to turn the ignition off, then the ignition back on, and we don't see a check engine light. So I'm going to go ahead and crank this engine over. You guys can see we have a strong, steady crank.
And another thing is that the RPM wasn't moving right there as well.
Oh, so I didn't really pay attention, but Oz is mentioning that the RPM needle or the tachometer did not move. Let's try to crank this again and see. Yeah, it's not moving, so we're not getting a crank signal. But really, if we're not getting ECM communication, then we're probably not going to see the crank signal on here anyway. So I think really that's what we need to focus on. By the way, guys, if you didn't know, these Kias don't have a transponder in the key, so it's okay that they just cut a metal key like this. It's still going to start the car because, well, this car doesn't have a security system. That's why they're so easy to steal. Anyway, let's go ahead and connect the scan tool. We'll see if we have communication, and then we'll go from there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and grab the Launch X431 Pro 3S Plus. We got a little dongle here. Blah, blah, blah. A little dongle. All right, so I'm going to connect the dongle right there. We'll put the key in the ignition and turn it on. So the key is on. We'll go ahead and hit Intelligent Diagnostic. Hopefully you guys are able to see the scan tool. This is my first time using this point of view camera. Luckily, we're kind of overcast today, so we don't have a whole lot of sun. So that's making the glare minimal on the screen, which is a good thing. You can see that it's already struggling to get a good read on the VIN number. It's been sitting here for a minute. And there we go, it failed to read the VIN number, so we don't have any communication with the engine control module. What we could try to do is we could go into local diagnose, and we could go into Kia. Let's click on Asian, and we'll go to Kia. We're gonna punch in our car manually, and what we can do here is we can run a topology and see what modules we have communication with and what modules we don't have communication with. So we're gonna go ahead and do a smart detection and let it run a full scan on all of the modules. You can see right now it's doing the ECM, but we already know that we're not gonna have communication with that. So if you give it a minute, it's just gonna time out.
I'm telling you, I'm putting my money on this that the ECM probably messed up because there's too much horsepower in this car. Yeah, that's just my guess right here.
The horsepower, it's overwhelming, man.
It's overwhelming, yeah. These are powerful little vehicles. That's why the Kia boys like to jack these kind of Kias right here.
Check it out. You can see our ECM, it's grayed out, so we have no communication with that. and it's scanning the TCM. TCM is also grayed out, but I think on this car, ECM and TCM are both part of the same module, so that makes sense that they would both not be communicating. You can see we have communication with our ESP, SRS, which is the airbag module, and let's see the BCM. We have communication. BCM coupe, whatever that means, we got communication. BCM 5RD, whatever that means, we got communication. Let's see what else it's scanning here.
But Eric, like you brought it up, this was detailed, right?
Yeah.
So is there a chance, if I'm not mistaken, these PCMs, ECMs, they're pointed upwards?
You're thinking maybe we got water in the connector?
That's what we might have to check out.
Yeah.
Well, we have the fuse box right there.
Yeah, so, you know, it could be that we have a blown fuse. You know, we can't condemn the PCM right away, but we should definitely start by doing a visual inspection, maybe disconnecting the ECM, look inside, see if we got water in there. We could also start by checking the fuses. So, yeah, let's do the visual inspection, then we'll pull up a wiring diagram. But as you guys can see, we have communication with pretty much all the other modules on this vehicle except the ECM and TCM. So that's what we're going to focus on. Let's go ahead and move under the hood and see what we can find. All right, so moving under the hood, let's start by taking a look. Where do you want to start, Oz?
Oh, we have the PCM right here.
You want to start by disconnecting it? Yeah, so let's go ahead and disconnect it. You see any water in there?
Nope, no water right now.
Actually looks pretty clean. No corrosion, no water. These are dry. Oh, that's some cheap plastic. Obviously we're not dealing with water intrusion into the ECM, otherwise we would have seen some signs of water. Yeah, this looks pretty dry. Let's pop open the fuse box, see what we got inside. Anything that looks obvious here?
Nothing right here, man.
We can probably start, you know, our visual inspection. We can start by looking at these J-case fuses. They got little windows at the top. They all look pretty good. What about that one? Does that look good to you?
Yeah, that one looks good.
Okay, yeah, so everything here looks good. I don't think they have anything disconnected. They didn't really do any major repair work, so I wouldn't suspect like a wiring harness being disconnected.
And this is from the auction,
this?
if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, this came from the auction. So, of course, with auction vehicles, we don't have a whole lot of history. You know, we're just kind of trying to figure it out. I think the next thing we probably need to do is pull up a wiring diagram and then check to see where the powers and grounds come from for the ECM. I guess we'll start with that. What do you think?
I think that sounds great. You know, we like wiring diagrams.
All right, guys, so I'm going to show you how we do this mobile. I'm going to be looking up the wiring diagrams on my phone. So we're going to go into electrical. Let's just do interactive non-OE diagrams, and then we're going to go straight to powertrain management, engine controls. And here we have a 6-page wiring diagram, but typically what we're looking for is usually on the first page. And so if you look over here to the left of the screen, you're going to see this is our ECM. And if we zoom in a little bit here, oh, I didn't mean to do that. Let me zoom in. Okay, so right here on pin number 2, I'm going to highlight that. You can see that that's our on start input. And then over here we have a battery power input on pin number 6. So I'm going to highlight that. Engine control relay on, I guess that one we can highlight and we'll take a look at that. But let's start by following pin number 2. We'll follow it over here and see where it comes from. Alright, so pin number 2, you can see it comes from the ER fuse and relay box, left rear of engine compartment. So we have this sensor 3 fuse 10 amp. While we're going through the diagram, Oz is going to check that one out. Let's move back over to the ECM. Now if we take a look at pin number 6, you can see that that goes straight up into this fuse box over here, and that comes from ECU number 1 fuse. This here is the EMS box in the engine compartment, so I believe that's the same fuse box here. Yeah, that should be the same fuse box. So let's start by checking those 2 fuses. We do have this engine control relay on pin number 4. Let's follow that. Look up here, you can see that that comes from sensor 1 fuse, which is a 15 amp fuse. That signal comes from the engine control relay. I don't think that we necessarily have to have that relay on in order to get communication with the ECM, so we're going to check that as well, but we're mainly focused on these 2 fuses that feed pin number 2 and pin number 6. So we have the ECU 1 fuse, which is a 15 amp fuse, and then we have this sensor 3 fuse, which is a 10 amp fuse. So let's go ahead and move on to the fuse box and take a look. Okay, so let's go ahead and start by checking sensor 3 fuse, which is a 10 amp fuse. Oz has the test light connected and the ignition is on at the moment. You can see the lead for our test light is connected to the battery negative. So if he touches a positive, you can see it lights up. And if we take a look here, were you able to locate our sensor 3 fuse. Yeah, it's right there. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's a 10 amp fuse. It says sensor 3. So Oz is going to check it out. You can see on one side it lights up. Check the other side, and we got power there too. So that fuse is good. We got power coming in and power coming out. So let's go ahead and take a look at the other fuse. That's going to be our ECU1 fuse, which is a 15 amp fuse. ECU1. What was that?
Who?
Did you guys hear that? Something happened. We heard the throttle body click. Is it because I leaned on this, or did you lean on something?
I didn't lean on anything.
Yeah, I heard the throttle body click. Like everything came alive for a moment there. Yeah, try to move the fuse box.
Well, we didn't really touch anything. We just kind of... Let me see something. Give me a second.
That's interesting. I don't know if we caught that on camera or not, but
the check engine light's on.
The check engine light is on right now? What the hell? Maybe you moved the fuse. Okay, so where's the ECU1 fuse? Is it
this one right here?
Maybe it wasn't all the way in.
Well, no, I didn't even touch it.
You didn't even touch it.
Yeah.
So we have power on that fuse. Check it.
Yeah. Let's
show it to the camera. So we got power on one side, and check the other side. We got power on the other side. So that fuse is good. We got power coming in and out. That's for the ECU1 fuse.
And then we got 2.
So there's an ECU2 fuse. He just went ahead and checked that as well. That's working. So interestingly enough, the check engine light is on. So let's go ahead and take a look inside real quick. Yeah, check it out, guys. Our check engine light is on. There's our check engine light right there. So let's see if this thing starts.
Do you want to hook up the... Well, we have our scan tool hooked up. You want to see if...
Let's go ahead and check to see if we got communication. So I'm going to hit ECM. We're going to enter. Let's see if we got comm.
Oh.
Yeah, we got communication. Let's read some fault codes. We're probably going to have... Well, no, we don't have any fault codes. Okay. That's interesting, man. Now we have communication. Let's see if this thing starts. Okay, so it started and the engine is running. It actually sounds pretty good. Let's move under the hood. Dude, what the hell?
I think it's a holy water I have in my back pocket.
Yeah, did you sprinkle anything on it, man?
Let's just do one little thing. I just want to turn it off and turn it back on because I'm pretty sure that's what they did when they drove it in.
Yeah. Okay, so it starts up. Let's try it again. Okay, so now it starts every time. The hell? You want to call it fixed and we'll get our check?
It sounds like a great idea, right? We came and we did our diag, which was...
Hey, let's get paid, baby.
Let's get paid.
No, I'm just kidding. Oh. Okay. Hey, let's try to do this, okay? So there's a relay that comes up on the diagram.
Right there.
It was the
ECM relay.
Yeah, ECM engine control relay. Try to move it. See if... Is the key on right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so that sends power to this fuse right here. So let's check sensor 1 fuse, which is a 15 amp. So if that relay is on, then we should have power at that sensor 1 fuse.
Okay, so this is going to be that one. Yeah, we have power.
Okay, so we got power at that sensor 1 fuse, guys. If you didn't recall, on the diagram, we had sensor 1 fuse that fed pin number 4, which was for the engine control relay on. We got power there, so we know now that we should have all of our powers. We need to probably check our grounds, or maybe we need to go directly to the PCM and check to make sure that we actually are getting our powers at the ECM connector, because we verified that we have everything good here in the box. We need to make sure that we've got the power reaching the actual computer. So I don't know, what do you think?
I just want to know what the subscribers would do right here at this moment. So I want them to comment down below when you have a vehicle that we have good powers and no codes, and then out of nowhere it starts, and now we're at square one. Comment down below. I want to see what you would do at this moment.
You know what I think most people would do? Fire the parts cannon, baby. We don't have a parts cannon, unfortunately. We're gonna have to do our diagnostic. We don't have a whole lot of time. The sun is starting to set, so let's get busy here and think of the next thing that we're gonna do. Okay, so really quick, one of the things that we wanted to do before we get too deep into this is, again, going back to our visual inspection. We do have some grounds right here at the chassis, so we kind of want to move them around just to see if any of them are loose. The other thing I wanted to do was just take the connector of the ECM and just kind of move it around, see if we hear anything. We know that when we gain communication, the throttle body will start to click.
And I'm actually standing where Eric was standing. I'm trying to
yeah, so we're trying to replicate what happened earlier. All right, guys, so I'm wiggling stuff here, trying to get it to regain communication, but no, this thing is dead right now. Okay, so actually, I just noticed the check engine light came on. I don't know if us wiggling something under the hood might have caused it to come back on, but yeah, it's illuminated, so let's try to crank it. Yeah, the engine starts right up. Okay. I don't know. I think we still need to go directly to the ECM and see what the hell we're missing, because there's definitely something strange going on here. But if we can catch it while it doesn't have any communication, and we can verify that we got our powers and grounds and a 5-volt ref, whatever, if everything's there, then we can probably assume that maybe the problem is in the ECM.
Well, I was gonna say, while we have a chance that the vehicle is on and turned on, can we look at the 5-volt reference on the scan tool?
Yeah, so Oz brought up a good point. Let's go ahead and go into the scan tool. We're going to go into the ECM, and we're going to see if we have any data relating to the 5-volt reference. So we'll go into data stream. I'm just going to go ahead and select all. We'll hit OK. Then I'm going to scroll through this here. Okay, so check it out. We do have some data PIDs here for the sensor reference. Right here, starting at the top, we show one for the TPS. You can see we got a 5-volt ref there. There's a sensor reference voltage number 2. We got 5 volts. Sensor reference voltage number 3. We got 5 volts. Sensor reference voltage number 4. We got 5 volts. So it looks like 4 reference outputs from the ECM, and they all show 5 volts. So everything's normal right now. But I don't know. Let's see what happens when we shut this thing off. Let's see if we lose communication again. So I'm going to turn the key off. Turn the key back on. Our check engine light is on. Let's turn the key off. Put the key back in. Check engine light still comes on, so if I crank it, it starts right up. So yeah, I don't want this to deter us. I'm still going to go ahead and pin out the ECM. In the meantime, we're going to see if we can get this thing to stop communicating again, and then we're going to do our checks at the ECM, and we'll go from there. Okay, so we've got our connector here. I went ahead and I removed the cap on top of the connector. You can see these are our powers and grounds. So we got pin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I think what I want to do before we check our powers is let's go ahead and check the grounds, because you know, the grounds we can check it with it disconnected, because the grounds go directly to the chassis ground. So yeah, let's go ahead and check. According to the diagram, our grounds are going to be pins 1, 3, and 5. And they're all black wire, so they're going to be these 3 right here. So while we have it here, let's go ahead and back probe these 3 grounds, and we're going to load test them.
And Eric, how do you load test this?
I mean, there's a bunch of different ways we can load test it. One way I like to do is using the POWERSCAN. This is my AUTEL version of the power probe. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this lead, and I'm going to connect it to the end of my little POWERSCAN. Let me turn the sound off. Sorry, I know that sound could get a little bit annoying, but as you guys can see, we do show to have a path to ground. Now, the way we can load test this is by sending a power to this ground. And yes, I do have the connector disconnected, so we're not sending power into the PCM here. This is going directly to the chassis ground. And so when we send a power out using this POWERSCAN, it has a built-in circuit breaker, and that circuit breaker is built for 8 amps. And so as long as we can pop the circuit breaker, we know that this circuit can handle the load. So let's go ahead and give it power. You guys see that? The circuit breaker blew on our POWERSCAN, so we know that this is a good path to ground. Let's go ahead and check the next one. In order to reset the circuit breaker, there's a little button here on the side. We're just going to push it, and again, you guys can see we have a path to ground. We're going to give it power, and boom, it blew our circuit breaker. So let's move on to the next one here. Alright, so I'm going to reset the circuit breaker by pushing the button on the side. Again, you can see we have a good path to ground. I'm going to give it 8 amps here. Boom, blue circuit breaker. So if you ask me, these grounds are good. They can handle at least the 8 amps of current. I think the next thing we need to do is we need to check our powers. So let's go ahead and find where our powers are at. Pins 2, 4, and 6. We're going to start with pin number 2 down here at the bottom. That's going to be the ignition power on. So let me back probe this. Well, just for now, let's just
take it off.
Yeah, hey, you're right.
I was like, how you gonna?
So I'm gonna back probe pin number 2, get it in there, make sure I got good contact. Yeah, I can feel it right there. Let's plug this back in here. All right, now Oz is gonna turn the ignition on. Okay, ignition is on. You can see we got 13.2 volts getting to this ECM on this connector. Now we could load test this. Let's go ahead and use the test light here. So I'm gonna go ahead and clip it on. Again, our test light is connected to the battery negative, and as you guys can see, our test light lights up nice and bright, so that is a good power. Let's move on to the next one. Turn the key off. I gotta disconnect this so I can get to the pin next to it.
You should have been like, all right, let's load test it and use the just mess around.
Let's go ahead and ground it.
And then call me afterwards if anyone.
All right, so now we're on pin. No, by the way, guys, that's not how you load test the power. You don't want to give it a ground because you're just gonna blow the fuse. Okay, so
blow the computer on
yeah, and probably blow the computer at the same time. So let's go ahead and turn the key on. Pin number 4. Which again, pin number 4 is the power that comes from the ECM relay. You guys can see we got 13 volts. I'm just gonna check it with the test light, make sure it lights up. Yeah, you guys can see it lights up nice and brightly, so we got good power there. Now let's go ahead and move over to the battery power, which is going to be pin number 6. So go ahead and turn the key off. And we're turning the key off because I do have to disconnect this connector in order to switch over to the pin number 6. So here's our pin number 6. Okay, so we're in there. Let's go ahead and reconnect this. Well, this should be a battery power at all times, so it doesn't even matter if I connect it or not. So yeah,
and we do see that right there.
Yeah, so we can see that we do have battery power here. Again, this is pin number 6, which is battery power at all times. It comes directly from the battery through the ECU1 fuse. And so again, we got 13 volts here. We can go ahead and just load test it with this test light, incandescent test light. You guys can see it lights up nice and brightly. So now we could load test it with, you know, let's say a headlight bulb or something, but honestly, computer circuits, they don't draw that much current. And so, you know, this is good enough to test that circuit. So right now we can see that all of our powers and grounds are good. The only problem is that our computer is working right now. So it's hard for us to say that, you know, that we've eliminated this as a problem, because really we need to check this while the computer is not communicating. Right now the computer is communicating, everything's working. So I don't know, I think we probably are going to mess around with this a little bit to see if we can get it to stop communicating. What do you think?
I would like to hook up a scope to it and cycle
the key
just to see how the voltage is coming out of that relay right there.
All right, guys, so I went ahead and took Oz's advice. We went ahead and connected the lab scope. So I've got 2 channels right now. Right now we are connected on pin number 2 and pin number 4. So we've got the power that comes in from the ignition, and then we've got the power that comes from the PCM relay. And so what we're going to do is we're going to graph both of these on the lab scope, and we're going to check to see if we're getting any dropouts in the signal. We're going to see if we got good integrity there. So yeah, go ahead and turn the key on, Oz. All right, so the key is on. Let's go ahead and take a look at the lab scope here. You can see that immediately we jumped up to system voltage here. So let me fix the bring down the 0 line so we can get them both on the graph here. Okay, so I'm going to move this one a little bit just so you can distinguish it, but they're basically the same here. So we've got a green channel and the yellow channel. And so by the way, the green channel is going to be on our pin number 4. So that's going to be the one coming from the power relay. So number 4 is coming from our PCM power relay, and pin number 2 is coming from the ignition. So again, we're gonna take a look at this, and what Oz is gonna do is he's basically gonna cycle the key on and off, and we're gonna see if, you know, we're losing the signal. So go ahead and cycle the key off. So key is off. You can see we're maintaining the signal there for a little bit longer, but then it drops out on that relay. So the relay is kind of holding there for a second, but yeah, now we're down to 0 volts. So we're flatlined here. Go ahead and turn the key on. You can see immediately both of our voltages jumped up to system voltage. Turn the key off. Again, key off. You can see that the relay does take some time to turn off, but there you go. So the relay is kind of hanging in there a little bit. I don't know if that's normal or not. Turn the key on. Voltages jumped up together. Key off. Again, you can see our ignition goes down right away, and the relay takes a second for it to fall. So now we're at 0 volts. Turn the key on. Turn it off. By the way, guys, we're on a 10-second time base, so we're looking at a pretty long time base here. So turn it on. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Turn it off. Yeah, so everything looks normal so far. Turn it on. Off. On. Off. On. Off. Okay, so everything right now looks normal. Is the check engine light coming on?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so the problem is that right now everything is actually functioning like it should. So we're not able to actually catch the fault in action. Let's try this a few more times and see if we can get it to act up.
11 minutes later.
All right, guys, so fast forward. We're kind of stuck here because, well, everything's working like it should, and you know, the problem isn't happening. The thing is that we really need it to stop communicating so that we can check to see what's missing. You know, we really can't do anything until we can get it to stop communicating. So Oz is really getting frustrated here, I can tell.
I think we should just detail the engine.
Yeah, maybe we should detail it, right?
Because that's when
that's when the problem started, right? Yeah, so we're a little bit frustrated right now. We've been out here for a while trying to get this thing to act up, but now it just wants to start all the time. So I don't know, would it be fair? Because look, listen, Oz has date night tonight and his wife is wondering where the hell he's at. So I don't want to get him in trouble, man. I think that at this point, let's try to do a little bit of research, and maybe we can find out if there's like a common problem with these things. I don't know. Are you guys familiar with these Kias? I'm not exactly that familiar with them. I do work on quite a few of them, but you know, I just haven't run into this type of issue. So I would say it's fair for us to do a little bit of research. Maybe we can get on IATN, Identifix, Diag.net, something, and see if we can get maybe a little bit of leeway so that we can you know, make a decent call on this, because I feel like right now we're just kind of going around in circles, especially with this intermittent problem where it's not acting up. We can't really you know, verify the concern. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of research and see what we can find. Well, you know, one other thing that we could do is we could let the car sit, because if the problems, so when we got here, the car was sitting, it was cold. So this could be an issue, you know, during, I guess, when it's cold, but once you get it warmed up, then the problem goes away. So maybe it's better for us to not mess with it. Let the car sit for a little while we do some research, and then we'll come back and then see if it starts to act up on us again. So what do you think?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. 1 hour later.
All right, guys, so fast forward. You can see we lost daylight here, so anyways, we had some other stuff to do around the car lot, so we had a few other cars to work on. So we went and did that, and then we came back. It's been at least like half an hour or so?
An hour, 45 minutes, maybe an hour, I'm not sure.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, it's been a while, dude.
Yeah, it's been a while. I lose track of time really fast. But anyway, the car has been sitting, and so we came back, put the key in and turned the key on, and guess what? Our check engine light is gone. So it looks like right now we don't have any communication. I went ahead and I turned the scope back on. So we're going to retry this test. Oz is going to go inside the car. He's going to turn the key on, and we're going to pay attention to the lab scope over here. So let's go ahead and get a close-up. And again, guys, we are on the circuit for the power relay for the ECM, and then we're also on the ignition circuit. So go ahead and turn the key on. Okay, key on. Both powers jumped up. Is the check engine light on? Oh gosh. We had like one shot to get this. Are you serious? It's still on? Okay, guys, so okay, we missed our shot here because
It was my mess up.
why did you touch it or what?
No, remember I told you I came over here and I tested it out before, and that's when it was off.
Yeah, so
Okay, there it goes.
Oh, it's off right now?
It's off, it's off.
okay, check it out. We lost power on that relay. That green channel right there. Oh, it just came back on. Did you hear that? I heard the relay click. Is the check engine light on right now?
Yes.
Okay, so we definitely were able to see it. Our power dropped off for the ECM power relay. Right now it's on. So the check engine light is on, right?
Yes. Have another camera on here too.
Okay, so we definitely know that there's a problem with our PCM power relay, because we can prove it. We can see it here on the lab scope. Honestly, this problem is going to be really difficult to try to catch because it's not doing it all the time, and relays can be very finicky. Just sometimes touching the relay can get it to start working again, and so we don't even really want to touch it. But as you guys can see right now, it's working. Just a minute ago it stopped working and we lost communication. So I don't know, should we try to maybe recreate it? Maybe we can try to tap on the relay and see if it'll stop working. You want to try that? You're gonna cycle the key a couple times and see if it acts up?
Yeah. Because it's actually really cold outside.
Yeah, it's cold right now. The temperature just dropped pretty drastically, so Oz is just cycling the key there, hoping that we can recreate the problem. But right now everything seems to be working. You can see that second channel right there. Yeah, it's looking good. I think that's enough evidence for me, man. That's the problem with the PCM power relay. It's getting stuck. It's just very difficult for us to recreate the...
Do you want to tap it?
You want to try to tap it?
I kind of do.
Okay.
We have our scope lead right there.
All right, so we got the scope connected. Oz is going to try to tap it. Let's see if we can recreate. I don't know. Sometimes tapping it does the opposite of what we want it to do.
It fixes it up.
Yeah, sometimes it loosens it up and then it makes it stop sticking.
I heard something right there.
I don't know. Well, we were definitely able to get it on the lab scope. We caught it. We were able to see it. Yeah, it's working. What do you think about maybe opening up the relay and taking a look inside?
That's what I really want to do, and I think that we should add that to the video.
All right, guys, so we went ahead and pulled the relay out. We were hoping to open it up so we can get a look inside of the relay. However, this relay is actually like a sealed unit, so if you look, there's no way for us to really open this relay without cutting it open. So I don't know, we're gonna have to go with our gut on this one. We're gonna go ahead and tell the owner that they need to get a new relay for this thing, and then we'll let you guys know what happens. All right, guys, so that's the end of our video. Like I said, we're gonna go ahead and tell them to get a new relay, put it in there, and we're gonna let you guys know what happens. We'll give you guys the update. I feel like you know, we did enough diagnostic in order for us to call, what is that, maybe a $10 part, you know, $10 or $15 part
most.
Yeah, so you know, if you guys wanted us to go deeper, you know, we could have gone deeper into the diagnostic, but really, realistically, the relay is only $10. So, you know, it doesn't really make sense for us to, you know, try to go dig deeper, especially when we find out that this might be a common problem with this car. So is there anything you want to say?
If anything, just comment down below. Let us know what your process would be, because on this one, no codes, intermittent. I don't know. Just comment down below. We want to know what you would do. But we called the relay. Let us know what you think.
We feel pretty confident though. Anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I want to say thank you to Oz for joining us today. I really needed his help on this one, because sometimes when I deal with intermittents like this, I can get a little bit frustrated, and sometimes, you know, when I start filming, if I get too frustrated, a lot of times I just give up on filming the video. But because I had Oz here, you know, he was kind of pushing me to make this video. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I always say, thank you for watching the video. I hope you found it useful, entertaining, educational. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Woo! Thanks.